she was tall, taller than me. And I
At
said, "God, she's
McDonald's.
really cute." I said, "She's probably the university." And Annette says, I said, "You want to go to a party?" And she goes, "Where?" "Oh, we're having a party at our house."
Yes.
So she
I was
drives
with my
she
girlfriend.
drives by with her girlfriend, and the lights are off.
I said,
And she
oh no,
goes,
we're not going in there, no party.
"There's no party here." And I, typical
Right.
typical guy. "Well, there's a party right now." And she goes, "No, I don't think so." And she takes off. So I had a little apartment on
Oh, thank you, Jody.
Speedway and Dodge. I had a
Uh-huh.
one-bedroom apartment. And I see Annette. I'm going home.
And I have my own.
I was working, construction, and I was really tired, and I was going to school. And I'm going home, and I'm tired, and I see this girl walking down the street with two big grocery bags. And I looked over and I go, "Annette, is that you?" And she goes, "Yeah." I said, "Well, what are you doing with two bags of groceries?"
Right,
She's 16, just barely turning 17.
right.
And she says, "Well, why don't you stop by? I want to introduce you to my girlfriends." They were 88 years old.
Twins.
Okay.
And Annette would go buy their
Susie and
groceries
Terry, and they didn't have a card.
Okay.
every Friday. She used to go grocery shopping for them.
Oh.
And I'm going, and I'm going out with that spoiled brat from Nogales.
Right.
And look at the quality.
A woman she is.
Wow, there's no.
She's a keeper.
It's a keeper.
No doubt.
So I remember when I walked into her house and her little brother came up to me, and her dad comes up. He was, "How you doing?" I said, "Nice to meet you, Mr. Martin." And he goes, "Can I ask you a question? How old are you?"
I was freaking out. I was like, oh
I said,
oh no.
22, 23,
Oh,
22.
oh.
And Annette goes, "Annette, I thought you said he was 18.
I said, honestly, Dad, I didn't really know how old he was.
Right.
I knew he wasn't 18.
And I
but
said, "Well, we're just gonna go get a salad." And he goes, "Well, as long as you bring her home by 10. Remember that, babe?
So, guess
So-
where we went?
So we're Kontiki.
Kontiki.
Oh,
No
It's
way.
still there.
Yeah.
It's still
That was our
there.
first date.
Okay.
That was your first date?
Our first
Yeah.
date.
Oh, that is
Kontiki.
hilarious.
Oh my God, it was adorable.
Uh-huh.
So we walk in, and I'm like 5'11".
Right,
I'm a big girl.
right.
And so they thought I was of age. They thought I was 21, and they said, "What would you like to drink this evening?" And I said, water or Coke. And they said, "What would you like would you like some poo-poo, or would you like," I looked at Dick and I go, "Poo-poo?"
Oh, I remember this story. Now it's going to get really good. It's
I
going to
go,
get really
"Poo-poo,
good.
what's that?"
The poopa
Oh my
dish.
God, it was called a poo-poo dish. And I,
With the shish kebab.
it was just kebab, and they called them the poo-poo steak.
Poopa steak.
A poo-poo stick.
And I was like, "What is this?" I was really embarrassed, and I said to the waiter, I said, Paloma, I said to the waiter, I said,
Have you made up your mind?
"What is?"
Would you like the poopa stick? And Annette goes,
What
"What's the
is that?"
poopa stick?"
I didn't know what it was. So anyways, we ordered that, and then we were having water and eating the poo-poo stick.
And Annette was real quiet. And I said, "Why are you so quiet? Did I offend you in any way?" "No." And she goes, "No." I said, "Well, why are you in deep thought? What's going on? Do you have a problem?"
He said, "What are you thinking about? You're really quiet." I said, "You really want to know the truth?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, you want me to tell you what I'm thinking?" He goes, "Yeah, tell me." I said, "I'm going to marry you one day." I'm my first day.
And I'm chewing on the poop.
My first day.
Wait, you said that to him?
Yeah, I told on my very first day. I said, I'm gonna marry, and I knew. Paloma, you should have seen him.
I almost
He was
choked.
like,
I almost
wow.
choked on that poop
Oh,
stick.
yeah. And then that says what she means.
I'm 47 years in February. 47 years.
Oh, I
Paloma,
love
my
it.
first boyfriend.
I love it. That is
Dated
so
a few guys, but
beautiful.
this was my guy.
I love it.
That was so
I
cute.
almost choked.
I almost choked on that poo stick, whatever you call it.
He actually didn't call me for a couple of weeks, and I was like, oh, I think I scared him away.
You think?
And then I was working at Hardy's Hamburger.
Exit stage left.
And I was working at Hardy's
Turn it out.
Hamburger. And I see this big dump truck pull into Hardy's Hamburger, and I go, oh my God, girls, there's that guy. There's that guy. There's that guy I went out with. And they're like,
So, you know, I worked for a construction company while I was going to school, and I'm driving this big old dump truck, and I said, oh, that's where Annette works. I'm gonna go see if she's working. So I pulled in, and she pops out. Remember that, baby?
oh my God, I was so
This
excited.
big old
Oh, yeah.
dump truck blend.
Oh, I was like, oh my God, there's that guy.
With my hard hat.
Yeah, yeah.
I had to
Oh,
wear a
yeah,
hard
and
hat.
that made points for sure.
Right, babe?
Yeah.
He was racking up all the points.
I tell you, that was.
And look at her.
So, my boss was a lovely man. Lovely. He was just getting ready to retire. And he says, I'm going to retire in a couple of years, he tells me. He says, what are you going to do? What are you studying?
Right.
I said, well, I'm going to university and I want to be a child psychologist. And he looks at me and he goes, no, you don't. And I said, I do. He goes, no, you don't. I mean, he's a very successful contractor.
Right.
And I said, well, I've got one more semester and I'm going to graduate. And he goes, I think you're making a big mistake. You'd make a really good contractor. And then he says, I said, well, I just, help you around here. And, and I, he taught me how to estimate.
Right.
So he put me in an office. And he says, okay, you know your numbers. I want you to figure this out. He used to build at the University of Arizona, built buildings there and everything else, and then downtown, very successful. Hilly Rosenzweig. And he says, I want you to be within 18% markup. So I do all my figuring and everything else with a calculator, and I'm 26%. And he goes, nope, that's not going to do it. That's not going to work. So he taught me how to estimate, because that's what you got to do if you want to be successful in business. How to estimate, right, Dave? You laugh at me.
Paloma's going like this to me.
Yeah.
Chatty Catty, I'm Paloma.
What? He taught me.
We're just having
He was
fun.
such a good guy.
Right.
He taught me the business,
And
commercial and residential. And he goes, it's time for you to go get your commercial license and your residential license. And I go, really? You think so? He goes, I know so. Go get the application and I'll vouch for you.
Wow.
So I went to the Register of Contractors and I passed. I got a 96 in commercial and a 95 in residential. So they tell me, well, you passed your test on both licenses. And I said, well, what's going to happen now? And he goes, well, you got to go and get your you got to go and pay pay your money and you'll get your license, your 2 licenses. So I went to my boss and I said, Mr. Rosenzweig, I passed on both of them. I got a 96 and a 95. And he goes, I knew it. And he goes, well, now you can go and start. And I go, oh, can I still work with you for about 2 or 3 or 4 more months until I get my confidence? And he goes, no problem, no problem. So that's how it went. And he had a little car that his wife quit driving when she was 55 years old because she lost her vision. And I said, Hilly, because I knew she didn't have a car. Nobody in her family had a car. And I said, Hilly, how much you want for that car if your wife's not going to drive anymore? Because I was helping him clean out his warehouse and everything else. And he goes, who's this for? I said, well, my girlfriend doesn't have a car. He goes, just give me $200.
Oh, isn't that
It had 30,000 miles on it.
wow?
A big Electra 225.
Yeah, that was a nice car.
Unbelievable.
Right, it was
It was
brand
very
new,
nice.
parked in there for
Love
years.
it.
So I called up Annette and I said, Annette, I got your little car. You got me what?
A little car, but it's really big.
Yeah.
But I was really afraid because I was like,
She didn't have a license.
well, no. My father and mother were going to be like, he bought you a car? So I said, you got to talk to my dad.
So I went to the fire
We went to the
station.
fire station. My dad was the captain of the fire department. So he went to the fire department and he said,
And I
"May
said, can I speak to Captain Martin? And this is regards to? I said, I'm
His
a friend.
daughter.
A friend. I'm a friend. Oh, okay. Well, let me go ask him. So I walked in there and I said, Mr. Martin, how you doing today? And he goes, doing pretty good. We're really busy here. And I'm going, well, I just wanted to ask you a question. Can I buy your daughter a little car? And he goes, why would you want to buy my daughter a little car? Because nobody has a car in your family. You know, they all walk to school. Right, babe?
Mhm.
And they all used it. Her brothers used it. Their sisters used it. Right, babe? And that was my mom's first car.
Oh, I love that story.
It was a clunker, but
It was a great story.
it was a nice car.
Yeah.
That
So,
is
Annette-
sweet.
So I bought her that little car,
Um,
and Annette hadn't met my family and my friends down in Nogales. So- Annette, Jessica Potter.
Yeah.
A friend that they went to school with, Gary Pottinger, he was in our wedding.
She met Travis at John's house the other
Okay,
night.
well,
love Travis.
Travis's mother was my best friend with
Okay.
Donna in Nogales, and she was in my
and
wedding.
she passed, right?
She passed of ALS at 50.
Okay.
Well, so when I got the car, Jessica was dating Gary.
Uh-huh.
I said, Jessica,
Let's go surprise them.
let's go surprise them. My parents didn't even know. If my parents knew I drove that car to Nogales, Jessica and I for the
Because
accident and
Jessica
came
lived in
home,
Tucson.
Okay.
And Gary and Dickie.
they would have freaked. So
Yeah, that was
lots of good memories.
great memories.
Yeah.
I just filmed that whole section because that's good memories for me.
Good job.
Oh, I love that.
And it was so natural.
That's like-
beautiful.
Because I keep telling my parents my mom doesn't like when I film anything.
Right.
Like I film Christmases.
As long as you don't post it.
Well,
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
being on the
I-
internet. I really have a thing for the internet.
Anyways, I don't have kids yet, and one of these days when I finally do have a couple puppies, it'd be
Right.
nice to be able to
Right.
show them some footage.
Oh.
Oh,
Grandpa.
that was so special because it was just so natural
Grandma and
and
Grandpa.
flowing and
And that was a great story.
beautiful. Oh, I love
Right,
it.
Thanks. Yeah.
I
Man,
love it.
those were the good old days and in between days, and we still have a lot of great days.
Glenn,
We got,
Glenn, look at God brought us together.
I mean, look at,
Again.
look at this.
I
Here-
mean,
here
and
we
I
are, just like
always
old
knew
times.
from the beginning we were meant to be.